Hi, this is Robert Polinick, the owner of Brutal Iron Gym. In today's video, I want to show you a bench press variation that helps you learn how to use leg tightness. So, real quick, we have our bench. This is a bench that my dad and I made. Pretty neat because we have like reverse band capabilities and all these setups and everything. Kind of fun. Has a self-spotting feature too where the bar can tilt out and tilt back. So I have it set up. If you see here, I have pads like on the bench already. These are basically just an old bench press pad that I cut out and had to replace and repolster. You can use a folded up yoga mat, anything that you feel gives you a good elevation. We're looking about like an inch or an inch and a half, 2 inches, somewhere in there, kind of an elevation. I also have plates on the floor. The idea of the plates is to mimic the same elevation as the pads, but if it's a little bit off, that's okay. What in the world is all this for? So what we're doing is we're going to actually bench press where my hips are up off the bench. About, say, that much. Well, there you go, so we can see it all the way. So I want to have that be consistent. So I would actually set up, like a camera if I was filming this, I would set this up from the side, and I'd actually set it up a little bit lower where it's like the same height as your hips. So let me pop a couple tabs on this thing, get it down lower. There we go. So what I would look for when I have clients do this is I would look to see in the setup how far their butt is off the bench and that it's maintained the entire time during the set. So let me show what I'm talking about. So during this whole bench press, I will purposefully keep my hips up off the bench. The purpose of doing that allows me to learn what it feels like to have leg tension, but not to drive my butt up, not to let my butt drop down as the bar is coming down. I want to remain consistent. So let me set up a couple reps. So I'm going to do my normal setup like I would. However, now I'm picking my butt up off the bench. So hopefully that'll be a little bit visible. Kind of hard with black on black. But the idea of it is my butt is up off the bench. I then will unrack the bar. And my goal will be to press where my hips stay consistent the whole time. So I'm trying to set that up to where my butt doesn't drop as the bar comes down and my butt doesn't lift up as the bar presses up. So I don't want my hips moving a lot. So let me show you a couple reps where that would be shown, but it's not what we want. So these are reps of don't do. Okay? So my hips are up in the air, so I'm elevated. I don't want my hips to drop when the bar drops and throw up in the air as the bar is lifted. I'm trying to teach myself not to have hip movement, just hip stability. Okay, so this will be what not to do, is when the bar comes down, my hips would drop. As the bar goes up, I'll throw my hips up. So drop and throw. I instead want to remain consistent. Hips in place as I press and lower. That's the goal. It teaches me how to create hip stability without a bunch of change. So I learn how to be stable and tight as the bar comes down, learn how to remain tight, but not shoot my butt up off the bench when I'm pressing on the way back up. So these are hips elevated barbell bench press. I have an elevation under my upper back, I have an elevation under my feet. Typically with these, I would progress them at sets of 3 to 5 reps. I would probably avoid a single rep max just due to some of the instability. It'd be a little bit dangerous, but doing them high reps, it just becomes really straining on the hips and the lower back to try to hold that position. So 3 to 5 reps, and one tip to help with the lower back is to make sure you have ab tightness. You want to mimic the sensation of holding your pee and have a big air. You want to hold that while you're pressing. So hold the muscles of the pelvic floor by mimicking stopping yourself from peeing, and take a big breath before each press. That helps stabilize the ab wall, helps stabilize the muscles of the core, and it saves your lower back some stress. Okay, so give those a try if you want to learn more about how to create stability and stabilization and leg pressure for a nice full body involved bench press.